Hi, I'm Andy Bounds, author of The Snowball Effect. You know when you're in the middle of something and you think, why did I say yes to this? It's really hard to say no to some stuff. Particularly when you're asked, you often think you've only got two choices. You either think you say yes, and then you wish you hadn't, or you say no and then you're worried about being rude, and also obviously the other person isn't helped if you say no. Sometimes people say no very politely and think that's okay. It's actually still a no. So you could say to somebody, no, go away, or you could say, no, do you know, I'd love to help you. I mean, to be honest, I love you. You know, I would do anything I could to help. I'm so sorry I can't help, but I wish you every success. I mean, that's just no with a bit of fluff on. So you do have two choices, yes or no, but you have a third choice, and that's what I want to talk about here. And the third choice is what I call no plus. And what that is you say no to their original request, but you give them something which is better instead. That way both of you are happy. You don't do the thing that you don't want to do, and they've got what they want, actually a better form of it. It's a bit like the quote by Henry Ford, if I had built what my customers wanted, I would have built a faster horse. You know, very often people don't know how much you can help them, so there's nothing wrong with suggesting something better. You know, if I go to a doctor and say, doctor, I think I need the yellow pills, I'd be very worried if he said, yeah, I think you're probably right. I'd at least expect him to do some asking. So if you want to do this approach and say do the no plus, there are only two steps. Firstly, you have to show willingness to help, okay? And secondly, you have to offer them an alternative which is in their interest to accept. So let's say someone says to you, I've had a good conversation with you today. What I would like to do is I would like to see that in writing. Could you prepare a document for me? Now this could be they want a proposal, it could be they want a summary of the main points, but you know that whatever you write is not going to be quite right. This person is known for not reading stuff, they're known for not getting back to you quickly enough, and you know that if you say yes, then at 10 o'clock tonight, as you're working through the fifth draft, you'll be thinking, why did I say yes to this? And if you say no, you're not giving the person what they wanted. So what you do is this, you start off by showing willingness to help. You say, great, thanks for asking, yeah, I'll get you something. But then you need to put it in their interest to change it. So you say something like this, I'm just very conscious that I don't bore you with irrelevant information, so do you mind if I ask a couple of questions? Now what can they say? They can't say, no, just be irrelevant. You know, they're going to ask you what the questions are, and you say things like, what exactly do you want me to include in here? Okay, what don't you want me to include? What are your biggest concerns that you want me to talk about in here? And also, if I do it in writing, I'm conscious it's going to take you a long time to read it. So when I've got this information, I can either do it a very short email, or if you prefer, I can just ring you up and we can have another chat about it, which is better. And can you hear how nice you're being, how helpful you're being? Actually, what you're really saying is, no, I'm not doing the thing you asked for. You cannot have the faster horse. It's actually not what you want here. Let's choose another example. Let's say someone comes to you and they ask you to do something and you know it's going to take lots of time and you just don't have the time. You want to help, maybe it's an important person, but you just can't do it. And you know that you need to show willingness to help and say, yeah, I'd love to help you. But what do you say then? But I can't. No. Here are different things you can say. You can say, I'd love to help you. Actually, I don't have time in my diary, but my colleague Jenny is very good at this. I'll put you two together. You might say, or I can't help you, I don't have the time, but I do know a supplier who's brilliant at this. This is important enough to get some money for it. This is the person's contact details. Or you might say something like, I want to help you here. I'm struggling, to be honest, but if we can just spend 10 minutes now, I'll go through with you what the subheading should be, and then you can flesh it out. Or you might say, I'm not sure what I can do because my boss has given me quite a few tasks for today which I know are all critical. Let me go and have a chat with them and I'll find out if someone else can do it, or we can free some resource up, or what it would be. Or you might say, I want to help. To be honest, if it's tomorrow I can help you, if it's today I can't. Is there any flexibility about the deadline? Now of course you're not going to say all those, you just need to say one of them, but by having all these things in your head, it means that when somebody asks you, you're totally empowered to do this no plus, where you say, definitely want to help, the best way I can help is, and then you move them to something else. Now very often this takes preparation. So if every single week there's a member of your company, let's call them Tom, who rings up and always asks you to do something, and it's always last minute and it's always really annoying and you're always working at night, I can guarantee it's coming next week. So prepare in advance. Work out what are 2 or 3 options you can give to Tom that would appease Tom, that would make Tom feel happy, but also would mean that you wouldn't have to do this 10 o'clock working. So prepare in advance. If you don't, you'll just do what you always do. But of course, sometimes things come up which you weren't expecting. You know, when you think, I just wanted to go to the toilet and I got stopped by 3 people on the way and now I've got 3 massive jobs to do. And you weren't expecting it, so how do you deal with that? Well, again, you show willingness to help, but then you say something that's in their interest. So you say something along the lines of, yeah, I absolutely want to help. Let me just go and check my diary because I'm really busy at the minute. I don't want to slow you down. Let me see when I've got time to help. Or, great, yeah, let's talk about it. Let me go and get a pen and paper and then we'll come back and I'll see what you want to do. And just doing something like going to the diary or going to get a pen and paper just gives you a bit of breathing space so you can think what you might like to say in response. The most important rule with any of this, of course, is the golden rule of being a doctor, which is first, do no harm. You know, if you're a doctor and a patient comes in with blood spurting out of their head, you just don't make them worse. Well, if I could urge you to do anything, just don't do any harm with saying no. The fact is there are some people who will ask you things and you just have to do it. If your boss's 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 boss says do a report for me, and yes, you'll be working at 10 o'clock at midnight, and no, you can't have access to me to know what wants to be in there, you've got to do it. So sometimes there is nothing you can do about it, but do you know what? Virtually always you can do more than nothing, sometimes a lot more than nothing, and both you and the other person will be delighted that you did. So I hope you found that tip helpful. My new book, The Snowball Effect, has lots of other tips in it. There's at least 60 or 70 which talk about similar things.